Welcome to today's lesson on percentage change, and today we're going to look at compound interest, which typically will be found on a higher level paper, possibly halfway through the paper, and be worth two or three marks. So we've got to know an equation, and so you'll need to get your pen and paper ready. But I'd remind you again that I would encourage you to have somewhere where you put all your little bits of maths knowledge, all the equations you need to know, all the facts you need to know. So perhaps a notebook or perhaps some flashcards, because pieces of paper, generally speaking, get lost. Okay, so here is our equation, and you've basically seen this one before, but you've seen the new value times PAC, where old value is what we start with, new value is what we end up with, and the PAC is the percentage after the change, which is 100% plus or minus the change. So for a 5% increase, you'd have 105%. For a 10% decrease, your PAC will be 90%. And the N there is just simply how many times we repeat the change, which in a compound interest problem is how many years the money is invested in the bank for. So write down the equation, or perhaps you might want to use a magic triangle, which is basically the same thing. It depends whether you're happier just working with writing equations out, substituting values in, or you write your triangle out because you find it easier to remember the equation that way, and then you put your numbers in the triangle. Okay, let's have a look at some examples. And again, I would perhaps write these down. So when I've done them, pause the video and put them down and make a note of them. Okay, so we want to look at this problem where we invest 4,500 at 5% interest. And how much money will we have in the bank after 2 years as we leave it there? So in this problem, the PAC is just going to be 100% plus 5% is 105%. Right, N is going to be 2. Right, and the old value is going to be 4500, because the money that's left in the account is going to be our new value. So we either substitute those into the equation or we write them in the magic triangle. And so we'll do that down here. So let's do 4,500. Let's do 105%. And let's power it up to 2. Now, what we'll do is we'll put that in our calculator and see what answer we get. So it's 4,500 times 105% power 2, which gives us, let me show you, hopefully you can see that, what we put in there. Now it wants to do a whole number, and so we're going to do 4,961. And we look at it, there is the answer, 4,961. Now, even though I call it the compound interest problem, we can apply the same methodology to several other problems, or any problem where there's a repeated change. And this is the car depreciation problem, where the new value is going to be 13,300, and it depreciates by 18.5%. So what we need to do is just put those numbers into our equation. So in here, we've got 1, 3. 300. And over there, we're going to have 81.5%. And we're going to have a power free on it. So let me just put those into the calculator. And hopefully you can realize by now that this is just a one line on our calculator problem. Now the button we're going to be using is the one next to the x squared to get the power. It's the x with the white dot, and once you've done that, you can enter whichever number you feel like there. So let's have a little look, see what we've done. Right, and here is the, see, there's my calculator, there it is, let's try and get it. It's this button here we're looking at, which is the power button. So that's how you press the power button, then you put the number 3 in there. And that will round up to 7,200. There we go. Now, what we've got is some questions for you to do. So get your pen and paper out, pause the video, answer the questions, unpause video, check your answers. So here are your questions. And so just have a go and see how you get on. Once you've done them, check the answers. There are your answers. I hope you got them all right. And just before I go, can I thank you for listening to today's lesson?